Hi, hello. Today let us discuss about what is AWS. What is AWS and what are the services that are provided by AWS. See, AWS is nothing but if you expand it, AWS is a Amazon Web Services. It was launched in the year 2006 by Amazon. And look, here are some services that will be provided by AWS. The services which I am sharing in my screen are all are managed services: compute services, storage and content delivery, database management tools, networking, security and identity, application and services, developer tools. These are the main major services which will be used by the end users. There are so many services that will be provided by AWS, but among them, these are the mainly used services, AWS services. See, here we have compute, storage, and content delivery. It is for a database like RDS, DynamoDB, and for compute to launch an EC2 instance, virtual machines, and there we're going to perform some tasks like going to install the packages, we're going to install tools, and then we're going to deploy into real-time environment. Okay, these are the things. And here we have something called storage to store our data. Here networking management tools, product management tools. There is something called as Amazon CloudWatch, which is used to monitor in open source tools like Grafana, Prometheus. We're going to, or Mogis, we're going to monitor the tools. But here we can use it Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring. It will be sending a threshold if the other the application is running as our expectations or not. It will be sending us email notifications if by the given time, desired time. What is the time we have given? Okay, for every 15 minutes or every half an hour, it will going to send you the alert about the CPU utilization, etc. etc. Then here we have something called security and identity, application services, developer tools. We will see it by step by step. In the next slide, see, these are the different cloud computing services models which will be offering by AWS. Here there are four types. One is on-premise, second one is infrastructure as a service, third one is platform as a service, and software as a service. In on-premises, the application, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, network, everything we should buy it by our own. Like, see, if we have Windows or we have new, if we want to run an application or project, we should buy all these things by our own, and we have to perform some tasks to get output. But here in infrastructure as a core service, we application, data, runtime, middleware, and operating systems are the things which will be owned by user. Virtualization, server, storage, and networking is given by AWS services. By cloud, we can use it by cloud, and we're going to pay as per the usage hourly. How many hours we're going to use virtualization, server, storage, networking. Based on that, we're going to give our money. We're going to pay money. Then here we have something called platform as a service. In platform as service, application data is managed by user, and the rest of the things will be given. We will going to get it from cloud. And last but not least, it is something called as software as service: application, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, network. Everything is managed by cloud. Then here we have to pay according to our usage. Okay, this is the major difference between among all these things. But there are some cloud platforms which are leading as an infrastructure as service, or AWS, Azure, and cloud. Google, sorry. These are the computing services models. And next, we're going to discuss about cloud computing deployment models. Deployment models refers to how any cloud service will be accessible to the end users. We'll see in normal scenario. Here there are four types of clouds: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud. Public cloud, in the name itself, it's saying that public. Public cloud, the instance or the application which we're going to deploy into real-time environment will be visible, or some data, whatever may be that, what we have deployed into real-time environment will be accessed by public. Anyone can view it in the public point of view. That is called as public cloud. And here we have something called private cloud. Private cloud is nothing but it is a cloud owned by a specific organization. Like if you talk in a general scenario, there are things like there are some companies like TCS, Infosys, Accenture, whatever may be the company. Only it has the access to company level or some organization level. Only that particular persons or particular employees can access that cloud. That is the difference between public cloud and private cloud. And here we have something called hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but it is a combination of both public cloud and private cloud. In hybrid cloud, we can create the data, but the data which we have to keep it for public, we can keep it as public. And the data which is hidden, or we have to we think that it is secure, we have to keep it as secure, then we can keep it as in a private cloud. In hybrid cloud, there will be a public cloud and private cloud. The data which we think that we have to show it to public, we can show it using public cloud. And the data which we have to secure it, we can keep it in private cloud. That is the difference between these two. And here, last but not least, here's something called as community cloud. Community cloud is nothing but the best example of a community cloud is banking. Whatever may be the banks like SBA, Canara Bank, HDFC, whatever may be. In that, what is going to happen means the details of any customer. See, because if I am the SBA bank user, the credentials of my net banking will be known by me and the bank persons, a bank manager or bank employees. That is the community cloud. The access will be given to only the banking employees and the users. This is called community cloud. And see, Amazon Web Services. What is Amazon Web Services? What is AWS? AWS is a boldly adapted cloud platform which offers several on-demand operations like compute power, database storage, content delivery, etc. to help cooperate, scale, and grow. See, it going to deliver the cloud platform which offers the several on-demand operations like compute power, where we're going to launch virtual machines. In AWS, we call it as instances. Data storage, we can keep the state data, whatever may be the data like transaction details, whatever may be, we can store it in database. And content delivery, delivering to deploying to real-time environment. There are other famous cloud platforms apart from AWS like Azure and Google, etc. Yeah, majorly there are so many cloud platforms in the nowadays, but among all the cloud platforms, these three are leading. Among these three, AWS is the leading number one as of now. See, service comparisons. These are the service comparison between AWS, Azure, and GCP. What are the service they're going to provide, and what are the names we're going to call them? In Amazon AWS S3. S3 is nothing but simple service storage. Here we're going to store our data. And in Microsoft Azure, we're going to call it as block storage, and GCP. In GCP, we simply call it as storage. And EC2, virtual machines, compute engine, EC2 container services. EC2 container services are nothing but it's like a service provided by Docker open source tools, Kubernetes, Elastic based, where we're going to deploy our application. DynamoDB is nothing but a database, RDBMS, Redshift, and Lambda. Lambda is nothing but a serverless instance. DynamoDB. This is also one type of database. Container service, cloud services, CosmoDB, SQL database, Azure functions, CosmoDB, cloud functions, cloud store, BigQuery, Bigtable, App Engine, Kubernetes Engine, C. These are all the different services. What they're going to provide the same service, but we call it as in a different way based on the cloud which we are going to use. In Amazon AWS, we'll call it by these names. In Microsoft Azure, we're going to call it this, and in Google, we're going to call these names. The services what they're going to provide is same, but the cost may differ. Why I am telling that AWS will be the better one among all the cloud platform means it is cost effective and compared to other clouds. It will have some low budget, low cost for the usage when compared to other cloud platforms. But in DevOps perspective, I think that Azure is the leading one cloud platform for usage of DevOps. Okay, we're going to move further. What are the benefits of using AWS? AWS is very easy to use, flexibility, change quickly solutions, reliability, any app, database. It will going to manage the time and makes the high availability of application. Scalability. It will scale up and scale down based on the incoming traffic. Based on the usage of the users, it going to scale up and scale down. Cost effective. I already told you that. It is per usage, per hour usage, because we can pay it hourly and the cost will be eco-friendly. Okay. Security. It is a highly secure cloud platform. Okay. We'll move into next cloud. Yeah, AWS services. EC2, Elastic Cloud Compute. These services help developer build, deploy, and scale an application in the cloud platform. We already discussed that EC2 is nothing but a virtual machine where we're going to deploy our application projects into real-time environment. And Lambda, it is a serverless compute service. It is also responsible to execute the code for a specific application, deploy code directly. We no need to need any server. See, it is in the definition itself, they have given that it is a serverless compute service. It is also responsible. It will also do the same work what EC2 instance will do. But the difference is it is serverless. We can deploy application code directly. Okay, that is the difference between EC2 and Lambda. These are the services what AWS will going to provide us. And storage. Storage is nothing but the store where we can keep some data. We don't have some storage to keep in our system. Then we're going to use AWS and we're going to pay according to our usage, like rent. Okay, storage. AWS provides web data storage services for saving data also. Its main advantage is to disaster data required with a high durability. The main advantage of using AWS storage services, it has the capability, the data which we're going to lose can be recovered with high durability. And S3 bucket, it gives open cloud based storage service which is utilized for online data backup, files, folders in the backend. See, for any application, a three-tier application, there will be front-end application layer and backend. In the backend, the cloud-based storage service will be utilized for online data backup. Okay, the data will be backup, like folders, files, whatever may be in the backend. Elastic block storage. It provides the higher availability storage values for persistent data. The data is nothing but the data which have some valuable information. It is mainly used by Amazon issued instance. Okay, these are the storage services. Some of the storage services will be offered by AWS services to the end users. And here we have something called database. Database is nothing but relation database like SQL, Oracle. In AWS database services offers cost-efficient, highly secure, and scalable database instances in the cloud. It is cost-effective. Okay, it is some highly secure, okay, and scalable database instances in the cloud. DynamoDB, it is flexible NoSQL database service which offers fast and reliable performance with no scalability issues, fast and reliable high scalability. RDS, Relation Data Service. It is managed and distributed relational database cloud service that helps developer to operate and scale a database in a simple manner, MySQL. Okay, this is the database service which we are going to provided by AWS. Networking. It offers a highly secure cloud platform and helps in connection your physical network and helps in connecting your physical network to your private VPN with high transfer speed. See, the AWS networking service, what is it going to do? Our physical network helps in connecting with private VPN with higher transfer of speed. And here we have called something called VPC. It helps a developer to deploy AWS resources such as Amazon EC2 instance into a private virtual cloud. The instance which we're going to launch, like instance is nothing but virtual machines where we're going to perform some code and build and deploy into real-time environment using these instances into private virtual cloud. We're going to deploy them into private virtual cloud on Route 53. It is a web service with a highly available domain name system. DNS is nothing but domain name system that helps user to route software by transferring text into IP address. The text which we have written in the but it can be transferred into IP address. That is the difference between VPC and Route 53. Route 53 will transfer data, the text which we have written into IP address, IP protocol, internet protocol, developer tool service. The services, it helps the user build, deploy, and run an application source code automatically. It also updates the server and instance on the workload. See, workload is nothing but the number of people may increase or decrease based on the usage, traffic, right? It helps the users build, deploy, and run application. Source code, like source code, we're going to be getting source code from whether whatever may be there. Source code repositories like GitHub, okay, etc. So code star. It is a service designed to manage application development at a single place. Developers can quickly develop and build application on AWS. That is the benefit of using code star. Developer can quickly develop and build and create artifacts to deploy an application on AWS. Code build. This removes the hassles of managing physical server and helps developer build and test code with continuous scaling. See, whereas we're going to use open source tools like Maven and Gradle for building and creating artifacts, build tools. But here we have this removes the hassle of managing physical server and helps the developer build and test code with continuous scaling. Okay. We'll see them practically in AWS after discussing. Okay. I will show one by one. Security and identity and comparing services, which going to offer by AWS to the end users. It helps in monitoring a safe environment for AWS users by providing unlimited access to specific users. See, it helps in monitoring. Yeah, it will continuously monitor a safe environment for your AWS users by providing limited access to specific users. It will provide if it will provide to a specific if for what for whom these services will be offered. They're going to limit only the specific person who can use this can access the data, okay, inside it. And it helps in monitoring what is the condition, whether it is performing as our expectations or not. That is the main advantage of this using these services. AWS service, security and identity and compliance services. IAM is nothing but identity access management service, is a framework that helps in maintaining access to AWS services in a service way. KMS, it enables user to create and manage the encryption key that's are used for encrypting data. Encrypting the data is nothing but to secure the data, right? This is the service provided. These services are provided by AWS, security and identity, and management tools and services. Using this service, an individual can optimize cost, minimum tasks, and automate all the resources running on AWS infrastructures effectively. CloudWatch. We already discussed that CloudWatch and CloudWatch is a monitoring tool that we're going to use in AWS. It is a monitoring tool for AWS customer application running on AWS platform. CloudFormation. This is the service which helps you in monitoring all your AWS resources at one place so that you can spend a minimum time in managing those resources and maximum time on deploying developing applications. Okay, CloudFormation used to monitoring all AWS resources, the resources which we have will be monitored by CloudFormation so that we can spend minimum time on managing those resources. We will spend a little time on managing the resources on maximum time on developing application. So it is time saving. Okay. and manage service. See, manage service in the services which managed by AWS is storage service, buckets, and database. We have already discussed that storage services like simple storage service, DynamoDB, and like databases like DynamoDB, and multiple servers that create table name, number, string in database buckets to keep folders and files. It is a global service can be viewed by in a single dashboard. These are the managed service used by AWS to the end users offering. Security, identity, access management. It helps in giving access to the particular group and user to AWS resource to access to AWS console. See, I will show all these things in practically so that you can get some idea. Rather than explaining in only theoretical manner, I will show it in a practical also so that you can get a clear-cut idea. Security, identity, access management. It helps in giving access to particular group. See, there will be so many groups like in age differences like children, adults, old. In that way, in company, if you want to give access to particular person like a TL, team leader, manager, only that person have the access to use that particular resources which that are present in AWS console. That is the main advantage of using this service. It will going to limit the access to the particular group or the users, so that only that person can have the access to use that resources. And management and governance. CloudWatch. We already discussed that CloudWatch is used to monitor the metrics in EC2 like CPU, storage, network. Use it to create dashboard. Okay. We can set an email alert to our Gmail account also. Okay. Conclusion. AWS is the best cloud platform among all the cloud platforms. It is a user-friendly cost when compared to other clouds. It provides 6 months of free tier account for the user as a root user for practice. Yes, it provides a free tier account that no other cloud platform will provide us free tier. It provides free tier account for practice, but it can be used as a root user only, not IAM user, because IAM is used by a particular organization. It is a managed service. Using this root user also, we have some limitations. We will discuss on them furtherly. And conclusion. After conclusion, see, this is the best prop that I learned in recent days. Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. Just I am posting it here because I like this proverb. I don't know whether you will like it or not. Okay, I think I forgot something here, right? Yeah, there are some free services provided by clouds like Gmail account. Gmail account is the free service that is provided by Google Cloud Platform. Gmail, we can create Gmail account by free money, right? We are not paying any use. We are even though we are using Gmail account for a long time, we are not paying a single rupee to the Google. It is providing us freely. In the same way, Google Drive. But there is some limitations. Behind if you, Google Drive also there is some limit like 100 GB or 70 GB. After behind that GB, you have to pay to get the storage. That is the best example of using clouds. Okay, now let us see these all services in practically in AWS. See, this is my AWS account. Okay, first we will going to see about compute services. Okay, compute services EC2. Let us switch first EC2. Click on services. Let me start from the scratch. Let me sign it out here from here. Here, yeah, log back in. I'm going to sign into my console, AWS console. Log in as a root user because root user has the access for free tier account. I am used by for daily tasks. It is unrestricted access. We can use it for practice. IAM is mainly used by organizations. It is a managed services. Yeah, signed in into my AWS console account. AWS account. See, this is the console one. In the left side, we're going to have an option like services. If you click on services, it will show which are the services will be provided by AWS. Here we have option like recently visited, favorites, all services. The things which are appear in my on my screen or recently the services which I have viewed recently. Let me click on all services. Yeah, see, these are all the services which will be offered by AWS to the end users. But all these services are managed services. We have to pay as per our usage, like a rent for home. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here means let me click on recently visited. Yeah, just I will show you the main services which we were discussed now. First, let me explain about this EC2 instance, which is very important among all the services is EC2, where we're going to code, build and deploy our application using virtual machines like instances. See, yes, this is the EC2 dashboard. Let me launch one instance for you. Click on launch instance. Yeah, here I'm going to give the instance name as Jenkins master. Master. Yeah. Okay. Then here see we have something called AMI, Amazon Mission Image. We have to take, see, we are using Linux platform. In AWS, we are using virtual machines. There we have to take one specific, Linux have so many distributions like Amazon, Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, Fedora. There's so many things, but I suggest you for the best practice we're going to use Ubuntu. Okay, see, on the Amazon Mission Image now free tier eligibility. See, these two are free tier eligibility. Okay, Ubuntu servers. First and second have free tier. On the remaining rest we have to pay. See, here they have mentioned free tier eligibility, free tier eligibility. I prefer to go 20.04 version rather than going latest version. Where we have taken Amazon Mission Image as Ubuntu. Then here we have type like EC2. How much storage, what are the CPU going to use, what are the memory going to use. See, in the name itself, they have mentioned that T2 Nano because it is very small. It contains only one CPU in the virtual machine and 0.5 GB memory usage. It is also pre-tier. The second T2 Micro is one CPU, 1 GB of memory. And rest remaining all we have to pay for them. See, large 72 GB, 36 VPU, CPU, T2 large 8 GB. For all them we have to pay according to our usage. Here I have chosen for free tier eligibility. Here prepare. We have to create one key name here. Give that Dev.tem. Create a new pair. Yeah. Let me keep it by default itself. Just give me one name. Dev. But this is the key pair what I am creating, and it will be downloaded, into our folder. If you observe here, the key pair is downloaded in my downloads folder. Then after what we're going to do means we're going to come down, just keep it as a default. Yeah, configure storage, let it be by default what they have kept it, let it be as a default itself. Okay, okay. Then launch instance. Here we have something called storage, not storage, sorry, security groups. Here, based on the project or based on the criteria, what the client will going to give us, we're going to use here. We're going to allow here. Here, by default, they're going to allow SSH traffic from, and if they given to allow HTTP traffic from the internet, we have to allow them. Okay, and based on the thing, based on the you port numbers, what we're going to have, we have to edit from inbound ports. So we'll show you that also. Come down, view all instances. See, it's in pending stage. Let me refresh it. Yeah, now it's running. Now I can launch this instance. If I click on launch instance, it will be directly launching the instance from console itself. No need to use any open source. Come back. Just click on connect. Come down. Click on connect. Yeah. From here, we no need to copy any public IP address. If you are using any open source tools like Mobile, we have to take public IP address. We have to paste it there, and then we can use it. Yeah, it's opening. Might take some time. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you this network security, storage, status monitor, taxi. All are present here itself. All the services which we will be offering by to the end users by the cloud. See, just we have launched one instance, and it obtained public IP address, private IP address. Private IP address will be default one for any instance, but public IP address will be changing for every time we're going to log out from here. After some time, it's going to change public IP address. Okay, these are the things: instance type, auto assigned IP address, VPC. See how many in how many types you can launch an instance, you can launch a virtual machine. There are two types. One is through AWS console, not only AWS console, whatever may be the cloud like Azure or Google or other clouds. But in other way, we can launch the instances using open source tools like Terraform and Ansible. In Terraform, you're going to get the information from a cloud provider, and using HashiCorp language, we can launch the instance from Terraform, because Terraform and Ansible are infrastructure as a code, IAC tools. And in Terraform, you're going to launch the instance using HashiCorp language, and whereas in Ansible, you can launch an instance using MS script. For Terraform, you're going to use what this IDEs, integrated development environment, like whatever maybe like Eclipse or what Visual Studio, okay, to launch an instance. Let me click on security. Yeah, I have clicked on security. Come down. See, by default, the port number 22 is allotted to my security to my instance which I have launched. If I want to edit them, what I'm going to do means, see, by default, the Jenkins will run at default port number 8080. If I want to run or install my Jenkins in AWS console, see, I have connected to my AWS console. It's establishing connection. Due to some poor connection, I think so. It's taking time. Let it be. Okay, let it be. Here, what I'm going to do means, I'm going to edit this. Click on edit settings. Cancel. Inbound rules, outbound rules. Yeah, click on it. Yeah, here we have option like edit inbound rules. There I'm going to add a rule. Let it keep it. Otherwise, I going to allow all the traffic. If I allow all the traffic, then no need to worry about the port numbers. Whatever may be the port numbers, like one tools may run a default port number, like this node exporter will run at default port number 3000. And Grafana runs at 3000, sorry. And Prometheus will run at 9090. And Jenkins will run at 8080. And application, Tomcat web application server will run at a default port number 8080. If I want to give a particular port number, I will keep it as custom TCP and I will give you the port number here. If I want to allow all traffic, just because it's for practice purpose, I am allowing all the traffic. Yeah, and just come down and save the rules. See, now I allowed all the traffic so that I can install any open source tools inside my instance or in my virtual machine. Come down, instance is running. Yeah, let me stop it because if you are not using, you should better to stop because if it's running means it can take your storage for usage and we have to pay for them. As of now, it is a free tier account, it's not an issue. But if we are using for managed service, after you going to use, we have to stop them. Okay. Let me stop this instance. Monthly 75 hours you can use an instances, okay? In free tier account. Yeah. Okay. Now let me talk. I have stopped this instance. Yeah, it stopped. Now let me see in other services. We have seen about, yeah, let me see about this IAM service, Identity Access Management. See, root user has no active access keys. It is highlighting the point. See, I have already assigned 3 roles to particular code. See, it has only limited access. See, here I have allowed role name and trusted identities. Only a particular person can have the access to these resources. Create a role. Here I'm going to select, let me select EC2. Next, add permissions. Now, for whom I have to give the access? It's asking. For which team? For which team and which roles I have to give these permissions? Selected trusted entity. See, it's asking. Okay, I will give access to administrator. The employees who are working on administrator access, and thereafter I think that I am going to give access for Amazon API gateway administrator. Just I am giving for access for those two employees of those two teams. Role name will be whatever, maybe like give something. Come down and create role. Creating role something. Yeah. It will be updated in the home. Yeah, see, it is updated here. Based on the usage, it going to, we have to pay them. As of now, I am using pre-tier account. I don't need to pay about up to the usage. It going to provide 75 hours per month. free usage. If it's go behind that, I have to pay money. Okay, let me see another story. Yeah, let me talk about S3 storage. See, we are covering all the story. We have seen compute services like EC2. Now we are seeing storage. Now we have seen security and identity. IAS, we have seen that. We will see about application services. And we will going to discuss about developer tools, database, networking and management tools. Let's see. The part. It's taking some time. See what we have discussed. We have discussed how to launch an instance. Okay. And we have spoken about how to give access, security, and identity access management to a particular team or particular group. Now, let us discuss about the storage and content delivery. Yeah, it's taking so much time due to some network issue in my area. Okay, see, IAM we have discussed, EC2 we have discussed. It's billing nothing but I will show you later. Yeah, RDS. RDS is nothing but Managed Relational Database Service. It is something what we have to discuss about database. RDS, DynamoDB, Elastic, Elastic Shift. All are comes under database, RDS, Relational Database Service. Storage and content delivery like S3, storage gateway, hybrid storage integration, scalable storage in the cloud, and code pipeline. For code pipeline, we can use open source tools like Jenkins. There where we no need to pay any amount for them. Just launch an instant or virtual machine in AWS console or cloud, whatever maybe. Then we're going to perform all the things. Then we're going to install Jenkins in our AWS from the instance which we're going to launch. Then we can do our the task what we're going to perform. But here, instead of using open source tool, we can use the code pipeline. Instead of using Jenkins, the managed service for that is code pipeline. In Jenkins, we're going to perform CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment or delivery. Instead of using that open source tools, we can use code pipeline in the cloud itself. Elastic Beanstalk. It used to deploy our applications. Identity center, Kubernetes service. Kubernetes service in it is also used for it is an orchestration tool service used to deploy our application into internet level. Elastic container registry, nothing but the images which you will containers. After that, we're going to create on images and we'll be storing we're going to push the images from from our Docker to Docker Hub. Container Elastic container registry is nothing but it is nothing but Docker Hub where we're going to store our images, which we're going to push from Docker or from EC2 image builder. We're going to build an image. Okay, and let's see. Discussed about storage content, database management tools. We're going to discuss network. Let me see about these networks. Networking and content delivery. See, in networking, we're going to build, deploy, and manage APIs. APIs is nothing but application programming interfaces. Cloud map, global service. These are Route 53. Nothing but domain name registration because we can translate our text into IP addresses, VPC. Okay, these are the services will be provided by AWS networking and content delivery. And here we have something called security and identity compliance. Yeah, let me click on developer tools. See, in developer tool, we have AWS App Configuration, Application Composer, Cloud9, Cloud Cell, Code Artifact, where you can create artifacts, code build. Instead of using open source tools like Maven and Gradle, we can use code build for building and creating artifacts. Code commit, instead of using GitHub, we can go into use open source like GitHub, Git to create source code and commit the changes, incremental changes to the program or application which we're going to create. Then instead of using that tool, we can use this managed service also, code deploy. Like deploy nothing but using Docker and Kubernetes, we're going to deploy our application like whatever, maybe like a Docker Swarm or Kubernetes. We're going both we use it to deploy an application. Code pipeline is nothing but instead of using Jenkins, we can use code pipeline. Code star quickly develop and build and deploy application. And we have some other services, but mainly we're going to use this databases. See, these are the database RDS, DynamoDB. These are the databases which are used to store our data. And let me think about the storage. See, Elastic Digital Recovery, which is used to recover the lost data. S3 bucket, storage gateway, S3 Glacier. This all the storage services will be offered by AWS. They have something called application services management tools. Yeah, management tools, migration. Okay, management and governance. Here we have something called CloudWatch, which is used to monitor the application which we're going to create or project, because it's going to continuously monitor and will alert, will keep an email alert based on how whether the application which we have created is running our as per our expectations, or is there any bugs present in our application, or is anything something is going wrong, or is everything is fine. Everything will be sending to our email based on the time which we are going to set on the while creating dashboards. CloudWatch is nothing but used to monitor our applications. Like open source tools like Prometheus, Grafana, all is going to monitor by creating dashboards the performance of like CPU utilization, storage, networking. Okay, these are the services mainly will be providing by AWS to the end users application services. These are these are the main services which will be provided by AWS. We will going to see in detail about each service in the coming video. I hope I have explained you very well. Okay, thank you.